Hello. It me. Gotta wait for the chat to say hello. I haven't done a podcast in nigh on a year. Almost. Hey! I don't even say my name and you remember who I am. It me, there you go, I'm chatting. I can hear myself on the Twitch app. Hi, it is me. I am not even quite properly returned from my leave, but I am back on the podcast because you cannot hold me back from chatting. How is everybody? It's Chris. Hello, Chris. Oh, it's lovely to be back. It's lovely to be talking to you all. Yeah, don't hold me back from podcasting. I love it. Like, I'm deep in some podcast rabbit holes. I listen to a lot of podcasts when I'm at home with the baby that I had. You might notice there's something missing. I listen to them all night long. It is becoming pretty intense, my interest in podcasting. It's only a matter of time before I start my own. I'm going to branch out. Sleep deprived. What time is it where you are? Hey! So today is Sunless Sea's 3rd birthday. Our first baby. Yeah, the Hadacast. What podcast do I recommend? Oh my god, loads. If you don't listen to My Brother and Me, that's the first one that I would recommend. It's a fantastic comedy podcast by the McElroy brothers, some of whom are from Polygon, some of whom are theatre types. There's a great podcast called Sleep With Me, which sounds raunchy, but it's not. It actually helps you fall asleep. It's a guy who tells meandering stories in a very boring voice. I listen to it every night and it has literally, I think, saved my life. Obviously Radio Lab is a big one, very popular science and popular science podcast. What else have I really been enjoying recently? Oh, The Illusionist. Anybody who likes Fallen London will really enjoy The Illusionist. It's a podcast about words and writing and the history of words. It's part of Radiotopia, which is a great podcast network. I recommend all of those. And most of the ones on Maximum Fun as well. There you go. Happy birthday, Sunless Sea. I should get on to the point, really. 3 years ago today, we released Sunless Sea. So we wanted to take some time just to talk to you all, some of whom I guess will be backers. Who's a backer from the Sunless Sea Kickstarter? There were 3,500 of you. I'm sure at least 1 or 2 of you are here. We wanted to take some time to reflect on Sunless Sea and to give it some praise and love, because it is the game that really made us and has been such a pleasure to work on and such an amazing thing to watch happen, and really changed our studio's fortunes. Represent the backers! So we have a bit of fan art to show and to talk about that people sent to us through Twitter, and we are really keen to hear about your Sunless Sea memories, your favourite bits, your favourite stories, whether you prefer rats or the cavies. It's so funny to be talking about this stuff again, because it's out now, and we look after it and we tend to it, but there's not much left to do on Sunless Sea in terms of the PC, Linux and Mac game. So it's this kind of artifact that exists in the world. It is rats. Good. Yeah, rats. It exists in the world and it doesn't really belong to us anymore in a funny way, and that is a weird thing. Please tell us about snuffers. Are you the snuffer obsessed person from literally a year ago? Hello, Olivia. Don't tax my brain too hard, because I'm not going to say that I've lost brain cells from having a baby, but my brain doesn't work the same way as it used to. It takes everything I've got to focus on a single thing at the moment, to be honest. So everybody went rats at Pigment Isle, did they? That's fantastic. Yeah, so we have some fan art, we have some, I'd love to hear anybody's Z stories, if anybody has funny ones or favourite moments. I think something that we often hear and that is really pleasing and is one of my favourite moments in the game is that feeling of returning to Wolfstack Docks when the music picks up. Too long, didn't read. I hate Mount Nomad. Oh, okay, well, I'd be happy to read that. I don't know if anybody ever picks the KVs. I mean, yeah, way more interesting and practical, but people who play our games, I don't mean to disparage any of you, are often quite perverse. So if it's not the best thing to do, you'll still do it. Yeah, so that feeling, yeah. I don't have any stories worth telling and I'm not an artist, but that music that plays when you return to London still makes me think home. Yeah, me too. I think that moment is close to being unique, I think, in any game that I've ever played. The relief that washes over you, that kind of change in mood, is something that we plan for it to happen, but that it has been so universal was really unexpected to us. I think my favourite moment is trying to go to the Chapel of Lights and Mount Nomad is parked in the port and you're like, yeah. Mount Nomad is lovely. I'd love to hear a little more on your opinion that Mount Nomad is lovely. We went live when we launched Sunless Sea. We put it live at about 6 GMT, 6 PM, because that is a good time in America. So it was the end of our working day, but the first thing that happened that day was the first review landed, which was Simon Parkin's review from Eurogamer, which is now an essential review with the lovely laurels and stuff on it. But at the time it was a 10 out of 10. It was the last 10 out of 10, in fact, that they ever gave on Eurogamer. So we were the last game to officially be better than Halo. And we looked at each other and thought, shit, like this is happening. It's so scary putting something live. I know a lot of you are creative people and you've done something similar. Even putting up artwork or stories of your own, or games that you've made or whatever. But that kind of precipice, being on the precipice of launch, is so scary. And to receive that review was just like, it felt like Wolfstack, the music playing, like, oh. And then it was an incredible day. And we ended up, that evening we had a little party in the office. We had, Paul's Mrs. Jane is a chef, and she brought us a cake that she'd made, all decorated up with a sea monster on it, I think. And we had tiny pavlovas that had teal sauce. It was all on brand. She's amazing. And we just sort of looked at each other and thought, this is incredible. Yeah, it was very good cake. Yeah, Paul's Mrs. Jane is absolutely amazing. Amazing. She's really hungry. Her business is called Free Ad, on Instagram and on Twitter, and she always posts all these pictures of this food that's just like, anyway, off the point. Jim Frisbee, hello Jim Frisbee, says, the first time I arrived on Pigment Isle was the first truly bone-chilling moment for me when the stakes felt real. Picking a side was also the most morally conflicted I've been in a game. Oh, we love to serve you up some conflict. Moral conflict. Terrible decisions are our stock in trade. I would marry most things if there was an option to marry them. If the Failbetter Games fandom had a crest, the ribbon on the crest would say, whatever it is in Latin, I would marry most things if there was an option to marry them. You all are thirsty. Should we have a bit of fan art, Hayley? Yeah, we've got some bits and bobs to put up. although I'm not sure how I'll see them. Oh, you have to spin your screen round. Hey, oh my gosh.
I believe we have Hunter's Keep, obviously Plumkin, somebody's captain.
Someone's drawn their captain there for us, a nicely placed Sharpie. Blemigan, yeah, so I don't know if you all remember or you are all aware that one of the things that was unlocked as part of the Sunless Skies Kickstarter is a Blemigan, either companion, I think, pet in Fallen London. You have to forgive me if the terminology is lost to me. It's marbles, they're loose, the marbles are loose. A pet in Fallen London and a companion in Sunless Sea and Sunless Skies. The Sunless Sea Blemigan is written, almost finished, so you can expect to meet that Blemigan soon, which is really exciting. I love Blemigans. Why would you hate a Blemigan? Don't hate us because we're beautiful. We don't like you either. We're Blemigans. Credits to Blemigan. Someone's literally called themselves Blemigan. That's amazing. Yeah, so that's Hunter's Keep on the top left. Yeah, so the Kickstarter rewards are in progress as part of the development of Sunless Skies. But they'll come at different times in each game. I imagine the one in Fallen London will come out close to launch of Sunless Skies, but to tie everything together. That's off the top of the dome. Don't know if that's true, but I think that makes sense. They do write good poetry. It makes more sense to tie them together. Ah, the door machine.
And that is more art.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the door machine is one of the most frightening things I think we've ever put together because of its superb unknowability and weirdness. Does anyone have like a naming scheme for their captains? That was one of my favourite things that came out after launch, is that people were saying to us, oh, my captain is called X, my captain is called Y, my captains are all named after precious metals or whatever, and then eventually my captain is called 12, my captain is called 13.
The captain we featured on the screen is called Nikolai.
Oh, the captain we featured on the screen says Haley is called Nikolai. Nice. No, there hasn't been anything released from Albion except one screenshot in the most recent blog update. My captain is called Sacrificial Lamb to that one lady in the water, but it didn't fit. Fair enough. I'm really excited about the new character generation options in Sunless Skies. The character generation tool that we made, we're going to buff that and update it before it goes into the final game. So it will have just a bit more stuff going on, a few more options, but I think it's really exciting to finally be able to make your own silhouette cameos in a Failbetter game. Seems obvious, doesn't it? It's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, Daniel Adams. Who's Daniel? Is this someone who you have a load of fiction around?
I'm going back to picture your face.
My captains were all thematically named after the number in the legacy they were. Oh, like Quintus, Sextus, Septus, like in, yeah. Cool, like in Stardust. I'm glad that you're talking among yourselves about the Clockwork Sun and the Dawn Machine, because I have no possible comment on any. I had one dynasty of captains called the Fairweathers. That's hopeful. I like that. A captain for an AU. A Zayla for the thrill, the exploration, and also to bring his husband lovely things. Oh, nice. So Meredith Agron says, the accidental cannibal pirate Queen Elizabeth. Wow, that's a name. Turned down the Horizon Codex because she'd brought a brand new ship and she didn't want her kid to start from scratch. Sailed away, ran out of fuel, tower ran high, mutiny, and she sank. Oh, it all catches up with you. Titanium, anything you should know? We're all pretty fresh, funky dudes and we're all cool. I don't know. R.I.P. Yeah, rip Elizabeth. I wonder how many captains have died. I wonder if we can find that out. I don't think we have like internal game stats that are that powerful. Imagine. I suppose we could tell some of it from the Steam achievement unlock rates. Yeah, 10 million and plus one, here, give or take a million. Yeah. Oh man, I've forgotten about everyone's interest in the number 7. Of course. Chris, are you still there? What is your favourite story from Sunless Sea? Only 2 out of my 12 Sunless Sea captains died rather than retired. Nice. I think you're in the minority. Sacrifice on a separate file. I have no qualms about being in merciful mode. Olivia says she likes the story about herself. Yes, well. Oh, the constant companion, yeah. Yeah, that thing is just the most. It is the limit. I can't broach being underwater too long when my terror's high. Oh, maybe we should do plush constant companions. I should know better than to ever suggest any merchandise ever. I once had a captain die trying to fight the constant companion 3 times in a row. Oh, mate. That is intense. It is intense. It is intense. That's what I love about it. Showing the game in expos and stuff has always been really interesting, because it's not the kind of game that you expect would go well on an expo floor. We went to TwitchCon and it was so loud. I've never heard anything at an expo that was that loud, but people really wanted to put the headphones on and play for a while, and that was with the Submariner on top. People just wanted to get into it, and it's so gratifying. Yes, Chris, pick a favourite. It doesn't have to be one of yours. I think your favourite is all of Submariner. I think that the addition of Submariner for us really brought something that completely like finessed and like threw another darker wash over the whole game and really made it into something beyond what we'd originally hoped for it. Has anyone raised the concern that Sunless Sky's setting might reduce the value and significance of the scale and mythology of Sunless Sea and its now puny gods? That is a philosophical question. Masters and losers. I think this is just me, as someone who's seen these games, not necessarily as a Failbetter person, but I have often thought of it as a kind of Lord of the Rings story in 3 parts, that the events of the 3rd book don't erase or destroy the stakes in the 1st book. Chris's favourite story. Station 3 is a favourite because I can't read it, it's too horrible. Yes! I've only seen its edges. I'm also quietly pleased with the eye content in Zub, and anything with the blind bruiser. Yeah, I love the blind bruiser. And the eye, yes, man. Eyes, why is it always eyes?
Because Liam was involved.
Yeah, funnily enough, if you want someone else to feel squicky and horrible about something, put your own fears into the game. Liam putting spiders into the game, or the Constant Companion, he could barely animate it, he was so revolted by it. Yeah, and one of Chris's favourites is the one that he can barely read. We're all just gluttons for punishment, really, aren't we? We're all in some kind of sick club here together. Hang on, I guess eye horror is the one thing that Failbetter sees eye to eye on. Wow! I don't know, the first Lord of the Rings book is a lot more about the personal, isn't it? Not the world. I don't know. But to me it's the classic trilogy arc, you know? You wonder at the end how you got to where you were from where you started. But it doesn't mean that you care about where you started any less. I'm still afraid that the seabed around Polythreme is going to eat me. It's just biding its time. Could happen. Yeah. Do you like my little glasses move? It was good. My favourite player story was watching Cody, who is excessive profanity on Twitch, lose half his crew in a story, then have to get all the way across the map at half speed with barely enough fuel, and halfway there he remembered he could turn into a Zub to escape enemies. He encountered the Blue Prophets, dived, and immediately heard the skitter of the Constant Companion. It was one of the chiefest pleasures of my kind of career and my enjoyment of our games since launching Sunless Sea, to meet all the streamers who I've met. Cody and Fuzzy and Bilana and Bikeman and just and Fall of Cthulhu, everyone's individual approach to streaming it has been so enjoyable, and everyone does it differently, and everyone freaks out in different ways, and everyone feels the quiet in different ways. That's really interesting to me, those spaces in between stories. It's a really good game to stream, I think, because it goes from being very, very chill to being so like tense, and it brings everybody can kind of do other things while you're watching, and then these moments of real tension bring everybody together and the chat goes wild, and then everybody can relax and go and do something else. Yeah. Who are my favourite characters in Sunless Sea? God, where am I from? I love the Blind Bruiser. I love the Insatiable Academic, is that right? Who is so sinister and who's based on one of our backers. All of the backer-based characters actually are particular favourites of mine. Because watching it from the outside, how the content, the writers this side worked with the backer to extrapolate and give our own kind of fruition to the characters that they'd come up with was just really cool. I don't want to comment too much on things about like other planets. I mean, there are lots of other places to go in Sunless Skies. That's the point, that it's not earthbound. Yeah, backer ideas being introduced seamlessly into the game. Really, like, the writers and developers would never kind of toot their own horns on this, but it is a real skill to work with people and include their ideas in a world that you've already got kind of developed. If Guillermo del Toro saw the Sunless Sea game and decided he wanted to adapt it into a movie, how would we respond? With a very measured request for a rights and revenue sharing proposal. It would be awesome, obviously. Only if Doug Jones was going to be in it. Who could Doug Jones play? Oh my god. I'm completely obsessed with Doug Jones because he's in Star Trek Discovery. The Sigil-ridden Navigator is one of our backers. I volunteer to marry all the monsters could also easily go on the Failbetter fandom crest. You know, the tentacle boy. Well, not long now until we have to wrap up. This has been a very relaxed first podcast back. Thank you, everyone. Oh, the Nacreous Outcast. I love rubbery men. They're so mournful. They're heartbreaking. You just want to squish them. Yeah, time flies. Well, yeah, it's very real. I'm only working 2 days a week at the moment, so the idea of just the amount of things that we have to do and the amount of time that I have to do them in are very... My understanding of time is very different now, having had a baby. It is a little short, yeah, it's just half an hour. We have plenty to get on with. But I hope to be back for another podcast again soon. And we might hopefully try doing them on different days at different times. We haven't been able to do that very much so far, but depending on when we do our next updates, we'll hopefully do a few at different times to try and capture more pals. What should we end with? Let's end with what's your favourite thing about Sunless Skies so far, assuming that all of you are playing it. And if you're not playing it, please do go and wishlist it on Steam or on GOG, or pick it up now. We're about to drop a couple of updates. The next two are going to be pretty important. Next one coming up is movement and combat. And then the update after that will introduce Albion. Which we are tremendously excited about and trepidatious about, because the introduction of a second region immediately makes the game far more like its final playable form than it is now. It is the point at which all of the work that we've been doing is really tested to create the atmosphere that transitions between regions, and will the two regions work well together, and will you like the new stories that we have for you? And it's a big leap forward, so it's pretty amazing. The Moloch, everybody likes the art, good.
So jazzy.
Yeah, I think the introduction of Parallax has really made something special out of the same kind of top-down. Old Tom's Well. Do you wonder if it might trigger a panic attack? Do you wonder that sincerely? If you do, please do email us. feedback@failbettergames.com. Is it too scary? Why? Why do you think it might trigger a panic attack? I'm sitting here with my hand over my head like an ape. Face. I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying it so far. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. I think I've run out of podcast juice. Okay. So, thank you so much for coming and just chatting about Sunless Sea with me today. It was very chill and a very nice way to come back to work. I am really excited for you to see the next 2 updates. Albion is going to be something really special. And you shall hopefully see Hayley and I doing a lot of work to tell people about Albion, because we really feel like it's a great moment for people to come to the game. So we are going to talk about it quite a lot, and I hope it's going to be amazing. Please do come. Yes, I will try and make the podcast as chill as possible. Sometimes I bring party poppers, and sometimes we just do this, and I have my keepy. Oh God, the amount of party poppers we went through last year at the end of the Kickstarter, nuts. So everyone, take care, come back again, see us soon, tell your friends, wishlist sunless skies, come along on our fabulous space voyage, and yeah, I will see you next time. And I don't think we do the sign off anymore, but I'm bringing it back.
No, you can do it.
We've been Failbetter Games, one of you has been poisoned.